Hey everybody, this is Young Living Diamond Sarah Harnish, and we're going to hang out for just a little bit tonight. This will be kind of a quick class, but I wanted to go through the NeuroAuricular class and give you some action steps that you can do. We did so much training on Tuesday, and I taught you how to use this thing right here, which is called a NeuroAuricular probe, and to go in and work on the back of the head on the occipital lobe and the medulla, which is in the center of the back of your head. So just to recap, if you take your hand and you feel in the back of your head, you'll feel a bone, and just underneath that bone is a soft spot, and that's your medulla, and that's where your vagus nerve goes, and it's a really good place to put oils. So the NeuroAuricular technique is a series of 7 oils across that occipital lobe, and then also in on the back of the neck, and you apply the oils using either a metal or a glass probe. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right in tonight because it's a rainy, blustery, chilly, like grab a cup of cocoa and sit on your couch with a blanket at night. So I hope you enjoy the training, but I'm just going to keep it kind of tight tonight and get everybody a nice restful evening off. First thing we do on Thursdays is we train on the mini. This is a tool that I use in my classes to draw people to more than one class. So I have found that on my team, about 70 to 73% of my team only attends one class. And when you get people into more than one class, they tend to spend more. They get excited about the CBD beauty serum, or they get excited about Ningxia, or they get excited about Thieves. And it's just a huge blessing to their family to have product education and start swapping things out. So I use the beginning of this book as a passport. All 25 classes that you guys can teach with the script book are inside the beginning of this book. And I have them cross off the classes that they've been to, and then I incentivize them to come to more than one class. So, and it's working. We're seeing huge retention rates using the mini. So please go out and use it as a good tool. This night, we're going to be training on NeuroAuricular out of this, and then I will go right into the workbook. And we're going to do a quick training on the workbook, which is just action steps, and it breaks down some different things that you can do to really learn this technique, like inside out, upside down, backwards, and forwards. And it may just be a huge blessing to your family. What that means is that on Tuesday, we only have 3 classes left, and this book is done. And it's been such a labor of love because it was October 29th, almost exactly a month ago, 1 year ago today, that I started writing this book. And we are just about to wrap up the boot camp, and it's kind of bittersweet for me. So coming off of it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple of protocols with you guys from the back of the book, and then we'll do business training. And then I'll do a couple of protocols and we'll do business training, but we're only going to go back to Tuesday nights in a couple of weeks and really break out some business training, because we're heading into a season where it's time to start rebuilding our teams. And I'm going to show some techniques that I've been using on my team that have been working really, really well. So we'll shift into that. And you guys have written me by the hundreds and asked for a game plan boot camp this winter. So I'm in the process of reworking game plan with all the new stuff to get you a brand new boot camp for the new website. So all of that's coming down the pipeline. But first, we finished the last couple of classes in this book. And I hope that this book has really just been a blessing to you guys as you're out there building your teams. Romero says it's really been a labor of love. This boot camp's been fabulous, and I haven't missed any of it. That's awesome. Tina, hello from Oklahoma, sweet friend. Eileen says, I just finished the replay of Tuesday's class. I'm glad that you had an opportunity to watch that, Eileen. It really is one of my favorite techniques to do. I love NeuroAuricular. So the mini, there's 4 little parts to the mini, and this just goes to all of your product users. You can use it as a follow-up. You can use it in your purple bags. Those are bags that I hand out in my classes just to give people information. There's 2 beautiful women that I just signed on an airplane this weekend, flying back from the holiday launch, and gave them a mini, and they're really excited about the classes and coming out here to my house. So pretty excited. Tom says hello from Port Angeles, Washington. I'm glad you're here, Tom. So the mini just gives you a couple highlights from the class. Then it explains the NeuroAuricular, your technique and valor balancing, a little heart message on why we do the training, what to order, and an action step. So let's do a quick recap, and then we'll go right into the workbook. So remembering the class, the 7 oils that are used in NeuroAuricular technique are frankincense, valerian, vetiver, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, sandalwood, and melissa. What do the oils in the technique do? Well, frankincense is mostly made of monoterpenes for balancing and reprogramming. Valerian, vetiver, cedarwood, and sandalwood are mostly all sesquiterpenes for oxygenating the brain and deleting misinformation. Roman chamomile is mostly esters for emotional release. And then there's Melissa, which is a powerhouse. Researchers have identified 70 different active compounds in Melissa, most of which have an impact on memory, learning, and retention. The tool used in this technique is called a NeuroAuricular probe. Probe is not normally a scary word. Sarah May says, I can't wait for the revamped boot camp. Yeah, it's coming this winter. I'm going to catch my breath a little bit over the holidays, and we'll just do our round tables that we were doing, but then I'll get my butt in gear after I've rested a little bit from this boot camp, and we'll get another game plan boot camp. So this tool is not named for the ears, but it's actually named for the brain. And you can find it right on Amazon. Just type in NeuroAuricular or just auricular probe, and you'll see a whole bunch of them. You can get them for like $7. Charmaine says, hello from rainy Coos Bay, North Bend, Oregon. That's awesome, Charmaine. I'm glad you're here, friend. So Gary developed this technique while working with a man in Europe that had Parkinson's disease. He reached for oils that supported the brain, and he picked them in the order that they're in because of what they do. So cleaning the doorways to the cells, purging misinformation, resetting. The purpose of NAT, that's NeuroAuricular technique, is to jumpstart and reconnect the synapses of the brain and the upper spine. The locus coeruleus is a mass that we just talked about that's that soft spot, back of your head. It's a mass of more than 1,000 nerves at the base of the brain that acts like a central switching station for the body. It's pretty amazing. So there's 12 pairs of cranial nerves, and that's where you're going to be placing those oils. Those nerves go to the eyes, the nose, the tongue, facial and chewing muscles, the lips, the mouth, the teeth, the salivary glands. They also go to the brain and the throat and the larynx and the lungs, heart, liver, stomach, large intestine, small intestine, and the shoulders. So if you had muscle tension in your shoulders, you could use NeuroAuricular technique for it, right? And Mary says, I got my probe. That's awesome. So NeuroAuricular technique, basically you're going to start from the right ear. You drop the oil generously from the bone behind the ear to the medulla in the center of the back of the head. You take the probe and you make little clockwise circles in sets of 3, starting from the right ear to the medulla, and you do it 3 times. Then you start from the left ear and go to the medulla and do it 3 times. Then you start on the right side of the spine, about where the shoulders start, and go up to the medulla and do that 3 times. Then you start on the left side of the spine and do it 3 times. And then you start with the second oil of the 7 oils. The whole process takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So the ear technique, I taught you a whole bunch of techniques. And it's funny, I've actually learned several techniques since I wrote this book that I'm pretty excited about to include in the second script book. So there, you guys know there's going to be a second script book, right? You're aware of that? So it's coming down the pipeline, not yet. You may want to use this technique for ringing in the ears. I do not have an Amazon affiliate link for the probe, but you can do smile.amazon.com, and then you can get it to go to the foundation, and that's wonderful. So this technique, ear technique, is for ringing in the ears, dizziness, and upset stomach. To do the ear technique, you're going to put helichrysum on your pointer fingers and insert them into the ears until there's a squishing sound. This would be a really good opportunity for you guys to get a blackmail photo of my finger in my ear. We're sticking a finger up my nose, right? So you insert it till there's a squishing sound, and then you keep your finger in your ear. You're going to keep your finger in the ear, and then you're going to rock the head from right to left 10 times. So back and back, like a full rotation will be 1, 2, 3, like that. Then the first time your palms are upward, so they're like this. The second time you rotate 90 degrees and your palms are facing you. So if you're standing behind them, it's going to be this way. And then the third time the palms are facing downward. And then the fourth time the palms are facing backward, like this. And then for the 5th set of pulls, you put them back up to the sky, the direction they were facing in the beginning. Then valor balancing, and Paul Ciesla, beautiful diamond, sweet friend, was on Tuesday's class, and he said, man, have I got a valor balancing story for you that I did with Gary Young. But I can tell you personally, this really has helped our family when we feel off. So while the recipient's laying down, you just stand with your head at their shoulders, and you put 5 to 7 drops of valor in each hand, and you hold onto their shoulders, and you wait until you feel a connection, or you feel some sort of comfort. It might be a sigh. It might be their body slipping into rest. It might be their pulse in your hands. And you stay in that position for 60 seconds to 15 minutes. Just deep breathe and then repeat if needed. So here's a little heart message, the why behind the training. Nowhere yet in this mini, this is the script book mini that I'm talking about. It's up on Amazon, up on my website, oilabilityteam.com. Nowhere in this mini have I asked you just to trust me, but I'm about to ask you just to trust me. So for these techniques, you're not going to believe a word I say until you try the techniques and you see the results, or you have done them, had them done to you, and you have a major wow moment. If you want to see them in action, you can watch the bootcamp videos on class 122 at oilabilityteam.com, attend a CARE Raindrop School, get a life science publishing desk reference guide. These techniques are all in their guides at discoverlsp.com, or just take the mini home and try doing it. You'll be really surprised. So what to order? Super simple. I'm not so patiently waiting for the 2.0 book. I'm working on it. I'm about to start the writing on it. I've already started some research for that book. So the 7 oils of the Nat technique, you got frankincense. I will promise you though, the second book will be half the size because it took us a year to do boot camp. So it won't be as big as this one. So the 7 oils of the Nat technique are frankincense, valerian vetiver, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, sacred sandalwood, and Melissa. Helichrysum for the ear technique, valor for valor balancing. And then the action steps are just to try the techniques. Just get out there and do them because they're fast, they're simple, and they're surprising. So next Tuesday, please tell all your teams, please, please, please. I don't normally market very heavily, but I'm very excited about Tuesday. It's the blending class. And it's probably my favorite class in the book. I know I've told you a couple of them I really like, but this one, I got more excited about this class than any other class in the book. So I really, really like it. And I pray that it's a blessing to you guys as well. All right, now I'm going to go over to Zoom and I'm just going to do a quick screen share. And we're going to go over to the workbook. And the open to the workbook, 122, look at this, guys, we're almost done with the book. Ah! The open to the workbook always starts with a coloring page, and we put those coloring pages up on my website. So if you ever want to go over to oilabilityteam.com, and you go to share, and you'll see these are the core 5 classes, but you can click on script book and you scroll down, you'll see all the free stuff. 101 oils, 102 thieves, 103 Ning show, 104 CBD, 105 kids class. You click on any of these, they're just loaded with stuff for you guys. There's a demo of the class, PowerPoint, blank slides from the PowerPoint, the first 5 classes of scripts, textable classes, challenge calendars, class graphics, social media shareable images, coloring pages. Like it's all, there's so many things up there for you. So right now we just have the blank slides for the NeuroAuricular and the Manly Man class, but we will get them both up for you this weekend. So you got access to those, and the other 20 classes, 21 classes, they're all up. So you can teach them right now. Like you could teach them tomorrow, just download it and go teach. I was just in New York. I didn't have my script book. I didn't have any PowerPoints. I didn't have anything on my computer. I didn't know what class I was teaching until an hour before I walked into this packed room. And I just, in front of the whole room, downloaded the script, borrowed somebody's teacher's edition, and taught a whole Oils of the Bible class in front of a room of people I never even met this weekend. So it's awesome because you can literally do it anywhere. Like if you forget your stuff, it's like right there for you. So it's been a huge change for me and my business, especially as a blue, not always fully prepared to have access to it. So here's a little intro to this. I'm inside the workbook. So if you guys don't have a copy of the workbook, this is just as valuable as the book. It's just as valuable. It's also 700 pages. So Essential Oils 122 is the techniques class. I love the concept of the script book set. So most of us are not medically trained. We understand a few points in the body, but we have no idea how to diagnose or treat disease. The script book is never intended to take the place of a reference guide where medical uses are outlined. Instead, it works with the body the way that most people understand it. My head hurts. This oil supports the brain. Let me put it on and see what it does. It's not because I've diagnosed and treated something. It's because I understand a base use of an oil and I'm seeing if it can support the body so the body can do what it needs to do. I put an oil in a general area and then I stand back and just watch. And that's the extent of my knowledge on oils. So this book is technique driven. It's not diagnosis driven. And that's made all the difference in how we learn. And it also takes the pressure off of having to understand every single part of the body and know the answer to every single question that might come your way. You do know enough. You now just simply say, I'm not sure how to deal with that. I've never had it before. Why don't you try this technique and see if it works for you? Do you see how 90% of the stress is off of your shoulders? It's because God never designed, he never intended for you to diagnose and treat. If anything, I pray this book is a huge pressure release valve for millions of oilers. Stress and expectations are off the table. So you just have fun learning about the plants that God created by playing. This class truly epitomizes the entire concept. So you can probably use the NeuroAuricular technique for a few hundred things, especially because it covers the vagus nerve, which goes everywhere. But I say, if you don't know what to do, try raindrop, get frankincense on your body somewhere, or try one of these 3 techniques. Just those concepts answer a lot of my questions. It's absolutely not a stand-in for solid medical advice, but if you want to try something at home, I have been wowed by these techniques more than once. So the moral of the story is just give it a shot and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? You do the technique wrong, but you still have oils all over the body doing what God designed them to do, or it doesn't work. So you've got nothing to lose but a little bit of time. So if it does work, you may have now just created another oils wow moment for yourself and those around you. And that, my friend, is worth the time to play. So if you're just joining me, what I'm doing is going through the script book workbook for the NeuroAuricular class. And basically, this just hashes out the class and gives you some ideas and really trains you thoroughly on getting every drop of knowledge out of that class. So there's 10 points to the workbook. Point 1 is key points. So it's asking you questions and getting your leaders and your team members to really think about that class. Like, what are the 7 oils used in the NeuroAuricular technique? What do they do? Do you know it's the only technique outside of the feelings kit that uses an emotional release protocol for the last oil? I thought that was kind of interesting. How did Gary develop the technique? What's the purpose of NAT? Where is your locus ceruleus, your medulla? And it gives you the picture. So by trace the picture with your finger, just so you understand, like visually and kinesthetically, how do I do this technique? Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Right, right, right. Left, left, left. Next oil. All right, super easy, super, super easy to do. So is it okay if your probe isn't in the perfect place? Absolutely. Technique 2 is the ear technique. Technique 3 is the balancing technique. My first question, shoot straight with me. Do you think this technique's a little weird? Yes or no? And I thought it was weird when I first learned it myself. So they kind of write out how to do the technique. If you're working with something on the skin, where do you put it? If you're working with the gut, where do you put an oil? So here's some action steps. Number 2, to becoming an oiling pro. And I keep this section pretty simple because the goal is for you to learn the techniques. So I don't always do this in every chapter, but for this one, I want you practicing and practicing and practicing, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So what I'd like for you to do is practice each one 10 times. You can use the same person if you want as your guinea pig. And then I want you to teach it to at least 3 people, because you learn it so much better when you teach it. If you don't have the words, then just read the script and demo what you've learned. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to bring oils to every home in the world. There are people that you know that will be greatly blessed by these 3 techniques. So NeuroAuricular technique, I've got you practicing it. So every time you do it, you put a check mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Then I got you teaching it to 3 people. Then same thing, your technique, practice it 10 times. I've got my 14-year-old doing raindrop on my feet every day while we're homeschooling. I'll post some pictures for you guys so you can see him doing it. He's just amazing. And he's getting really good at it. And then teach it 3 times. Valor balancing technique, practice it 10 times and then teach it 10 times. So in this section, section 3, I give you some diffuser recipes. And it's going to sound a little odd, but hear me out. We're going to diffuse the NeuroAuricular technique. We're going to diffuse the ear technique, which doesn't smell so great because helichrysum is like cat pee. And then we're going to diffuse the valor balancing technique. And shoo, I can breathe in valor all day. I know you're asking how. It's a topical application. Well, we know that when you give a raindrop, the receiver gets benefits too, right? So I love doing raindrop in my house and then smelling the raindrop oils for another day afterwards. I went down to go do homeschooling and I just done NeuroAuricular on my son. He had a concussion this weekend in men's soccer, and it's for brain support. So I was like, well, we can use all the support we need. So let's do a neuroauricular on the back of his head. And a headache he's had for 4 days has gone away. But when I came back down the next day, I sat down and all the oils were still sitting there with their lids on. And I'm like, oh, this smells so good. So I love doing a raindrop in my house and then smelling the raindrop oils for another day afterwards. It just leaves this ambiance that blesses everybody inside. And I've actually seen character changes in my kids just breathing those oils in. My teens will walk in and say, Mom, did you do a raindrop today? The house smells awesome. And I've also been known to leave my bottle caps off just to continue smelling the oils by my bedstand for just an extra blessing that night, because there's no work required, right? So let's recreate the mood. You already did the technique once. Why not be blessed with a second time? Rather than give you random diffuser recipes for this section, I want you to use the oils you've already learned for the class. So put each of the oils from the recipes in your diffuser and pray for the same blessing to be given to you as the person that got these oils topically earlier on in the day. So in the case of the neuroauricular technique, you're using really powerful oils. I mean, Melissa, frankincense, cedarwood, sandalwood, these are very powerful brain oils. So if one specifically draws you in more than the others, I would double or triple that oil in the recipe, because only you can know what you need most. So for neuroauricular technique, you're just doing a drop of each of the 7 oils: frank, valerian, vetiver, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, sandalwood, melissa. And if you're drawn to an oil, add an extra drop or 2. The ear technique, this one, I'm going to mix a couple oils with helichrysum because it's just a whole lot of. So I do 2 drops helichrysum, 2 drops purification, 2 drops juniper. Those are all, you could even, if you like the smell of geranium, add a little geranium on that recipe. Valor balancing technique, 10 drops of valor. That's what I do. Raindrop technique diffuser recipe, 2 drops of valor, 1 drop of oregano. And you're like, whoa, you lost me at oregano. It's okay. You do 1 drop of thyme, and all the rest of the oils and the mints outweigh the oregano and thyme. You'll still smell it. You'll smell it in there, but they're not like blow you over strong. So 1 drop of basil, 1 drop of marjoram, 1 drop of wintergreen, 1 drop of cypress, 1 drop of peppermint, 1 drop of aroma seeds. So you've got wintergreen, peppermint, and aroma seeds, and those are 3 mints. Pair with a cypress, which is a really good blending oil, and it kind of knocks down this oregano and thyme. But it does smell herby because you've got thyme, basil, and marjoram in there. So it will smell like a very herby blend. Number 4, some loyalty rewards ideas. So snag a raindrop collection, get the oils for the neuroauricular technique like Roman cam, vetiver, valerian. I just ordered more vetiver and valerian last night. Month 2, get frankincense, helichrysum for the ear technique, valor for the balancing technique. And then maybe melissa, maybe you go in, you saved up your loyalty rewards points and you just go for it. Purification. Month 3, restock your Ningxia. I always give people Ningxia right after a neuroauricular and right after a raindrop, always. So give them a packet of Ningxia, add some nitro. And then the above items listed plus add 2 more amazing oils mentioned in the class, RC and juniper and sacred sandalwood. So for section 5, I just love to give you as a teacher all the oils that are mentioned so you can tell your team, hey, this is the stuff we're going to be talking about this month. Like, make sure you get it and order it, and then you'll have it all on hand while we're teaching the classes. So it's just a list of every product listed in this class. So frankincense, valerian, vetiver, Roman cam, cedarwood, sandalwood, melissa, cilantro, citronella, helichrysum, purification, juniper, valor, and RC. So here's a little bonus training. These are my favorite sections in the workbook. We're about 5 minutes from wrapping up. So we're getting together only 25 minutes tonight, and then I'm going to do some giveaways for you guys. So this bonus training is really precious to me because it comes from one of the Crown Diamonds, Diane Mora. I'm a member of her team, and she's just been a deep blessing to our family. So this story is from all the way back in 2008. Diane had the honor of traveling many times with Gary Young, and when she tells stories, I pull up a stool, I listen in silence, and I just soak every word in that she says, because these are the stories that need to be preserved for our team so they know Gary, even though they were never able to meet him in person. You can still know him through the stories that live on through amazing people like Diane. So enjoy the training. So why did Gary go to Ecuador? He actually went there many years ago to research and talk with the Vilcabamba people. They were one of the 5 long-lived populations of the earth that he was studying at the time. Now, these are Diane's words. I remember him telling us so much about this because he wanted to bring back to us the knowledge of the old people from around the world. So he went to where the people lived who were 120, 130, 150 years and older, and he took pictures with them and snapped photos of their birth certificates and shot videos of him talking with them so that he could prove what he'd be telling us when he got back. He traveled the world too many times to count. Along with the Vilcabambas of Ecuador, he studied the Hunzacuts of Pakistan, the Tarahumara Indians in Mexico, and the long-living people in the province of Ningxia, China, and the Azerbaijanis in Iran. Now, he was trying to find out what they did to live that long. Like, what were they eating? How long did they sleep? How much did they exercise? And so much more. At the 2001 conventions, this 20 years ago, more than that, he said the following, quote, this is Gary's words: "Why is it that America 75 years ago was the healthiest nation in the world? Why is it that today America is the 89th sickest nation in the world? I've traveled the world for 20 years and I've just completed another 6-week tour. And when I look at people who are 140 years old today in other countries that are still milking their cows and working their gardens and can read a newspaper without glasses and don't wear hearing aids, and they still have their teeth and can sit down and talk to you as though they're 20 or 30 years old with clarity and sharpness of mind, it tells me there's something wrong somewhere." While studying the Vilcabamba people, he saw how rich the country of Ecuador was with plants. It was literally a buffet of herbs, trees, bushes, and many other plants that had not been identified. Ecuador means equator, so they have no winter. Most places have 12 hours of sun every day. The volcanic ash makes for very rich soil. He told us that in Ecuador, if you discover and distill a plant that had never been distilled before, that you could name that plant and the oil. And so he did just that. Now, I don't know if this is still true. He found and named the tree and oil of eucalyptus blue. I had photos taken with that tree when I was there on the first big trip in 2008, when Gary invited members to join him there. 340 of us did, and it was an unforgettable, wonderful, and exciting experience. Dorado Azul was another one. He named it that because it means golden blue. The flowers gave that appearance. There were many more oils to come. He said there were about 1,600 aromatic plants in Ecuador, and only 200 are named and known, and that was in 2008. So Gary distilled for the first time eucalyptus blue. He distilled for the first time Dorado Azul. Those are his creations. There's no other company in the world that has them. Gary backpacked into the jungle for 3 days with Daniel, the shaman, who was 72 years old, cutting trees, bark, roots, bushes, etc. And he asked if Daniel got tired of everyone requesting him to take them into the jungle. Daniel said that Gary was the very first to ask that no one had ever asked him to take him into the jungle to look at the plants. He said the people would come to their university to study and ask to see research done by the Ecuadorians, and then they would go take it back to the United States and publish it as their own, as if they did the research. He had never taken anyone else out into the jungle. They didn't want to get out of their hotel rooms. Gary was the very first to ask and to actually go with him. He picked fruit in the jungle that the natives used for various things that I can't name here. The 72-year-old Daniel went through the jungle and used his machete, chopping trees and brush all day long. He would scoot up a tree and throw a piece of fruit down to Gary, and he said it was fascinating to watch that man. Daniel had a remedy for every tree and flower. He would say, this tree is poison. 10 feet from the tree is a little tree, and he'd say, that is the antidote to the poisonous tree. And then they would make a tea from the leaves of the good tree and drink it. Gary said what he gained from that man alone is a 2-year education. He had many harrowing experiences around the planet to bring the best to us. The chances that he took, and the creativity and the curiosity and the inspiration and the exhaustion and the sacrifices that he and his family made for Young Living is incalculable. I am forever grateful for the education and tools that we have received, because he was convinced that essential oils could provide so many answers for our future good health. He was absolutely correct. Because of Gary Young, we have so much. I'm stopping my share for a second because I want to pop over to you guys real quick and just see what you're saying, answer a couple of your questions, make sure that, Ismenia says, wow. I love hearing the stories. Nina says, wow, I love them too. It's one of my favorite parts of the script book. It's just some of these bonus trainings is such a blessing to me. So Jordan says, question, loving these classes. Any idea when the errors will be fixed for the tooth and hormone class? PowerPoints, I'd love to teach those. Jordan, if there's an error, just download it, girl, and switch it yourself. I will get back to those, but probably not until I finished the boot camp, which we're still 3 weeks out from being done on them. So you can teach them if there's an error in it. You don't need me to do the correction. Amy says, Gary was truly a blessing to all of us. We just had a woman in Australia write me today, and she's using the scripts, and they're completely different from the kits that they have in Australia, and you just modify it to make it what you need it to be. All right, I'm going to go back over here. and do my screen share. What an amazing man. I love the stories. I know you can't download. We'll look into that. We have been able to download it. Actually, the two that you mentioned, I just downloaded this weekend while I was in New York, 800 miles away from my team here. So I can take a look at it and see if it's a download error, but I'm not thinking it is because I was able to download it okay this weekend. But I'll take another look at it for you, okay? All right, DIY craft from the class. This isn't really a craft. In fact, you might straight up hate me for this one because I slapped the word craft on the section just to make it a little more palatable. But let me start with a story so that you hate me less, okay? I would recommend that when you hit the rank of platinum and you get to go to the Platinum Leaders Retreat, that you go to the Nova Vita Spa at Finca Botanica Farm in Chang'an, Ecuador. And let you in on a little secret. This is not a spa. They do treatments like colon hydrotherapy, which is cleaning your bum out, and vitamin C IV infusions, so needles at a spa. This is an oils spa that does unique treatments with herbs and oils. And they offer techniques like NeuroAuricular technique, which you would highly recommend, as well as raindrop. So when I went, all the weird techniques like your bum cleaning were done downstairs, and all the fun and relaxing treatments like floral water baths and a tub of ylang ylang water, were upstairs. And it became a joke that you don't want to go downstairs, even though you do truly feel great afterwards. They have a completely renovated spa since I've been there, and it's possible everything's in a different place, but you might have to figure this all out when you go, so good luck. I can tell you this, I do recommend you go to the retreat at least 2 to 3 days early and try several spa treatments, because it'll be a trip of a lifetime for you. So save now, make it happen, do the blood cell analysis before you do anything else so you know what treatments your body wants the most. Now, with that said, there's another technique I've not told you about. It's not technically a DIY because you need a dropper and a carrier oil and a glass dish, but I'm going to place it in the section anyway, because I mean, it sounds like a DIY, right? And then afterward, you're going to be calling me names and wondering why I didn't give you some body butter or bath salt recipes. Shoot, man, go Google that stuff. I put this here because I love you so much that I want you to have the good training. So let's talk about your tush. One of the most powerful ways that I know of to apply oils is rectally, especially if you want fast lung, liver, or colon support. So when you put anything in the rectum, it draws things out of the liver. It is the fastest access point to the liver in the human body. So think of the power of coffee enemas and salt water with magnesium enemas. It's actually 2 ways to do this technique. One is called a suppository, and it's pretty simple. We cover it briefly in the script book. And the reason I'm giving you this as a DIY, because it's literally a DIY that you do that has to do with your butthole, right? So you're going to place oils and a carrier in a vegetable capsule and insert it into the rectum and then try to hold it overnight. So it's a little bit gentler on your body because the essential oils are they're contained in a veggie cap until it dissolves, and a carrier, but it's still very powerful. The second technique is downright wicked. It was suggested by my kinesiologist and I hated her for it. However, I then had a huge turnaround after I tried it. So she doesn't call it a suppository, but rather a depository. So what the what? It's already sick that we're putting things in our bum, and now there's 2 ways to put things in our bum. Yes. So for the second way, you're not using a suppository, you're literally depositing the oil straight into the rectum using a dropper. So a word of caution, this is a more sensitive area of the body, just like your décolleté, the area above your breast to your neck. It's very delicate skin. So definitely for the first use and possibly for all the uses, you may want to start and chase this technique with a carrier oil and go very slow. So use only a drop or 2 of essential oils the first time and just see how you do. I use this technique when nothing else seems to be working, because who wants to put oils in their bum? So how to do a depository. Number 1, you'll order a glass dropper from Amazon or from an oils supply store. Then make sure all your supplies are next to you, especially if you're doing the technique alone. I would do it in your bed. You can lay a towel down in your bed and make sure your bottle caps are off. The first thing you want to do is generously cover your rectum with coconut oil or V6. If the essential oil is going to give you a burning sensation, then the most likely place that will happen is the entry point where you're most sensitive. So be generous with your carrier oil and rub it on the outside and a little bit on the inside too. Then take the dropper, fill it with carrier oil like V6, and insert it into the rectum and squeeze. Then you're going to take a small dish and put 1 to 2 drops of the essential oil of your choice. So I like Raven for lung support. Fastest way to get to the lungs, through the butt. Frankincense for brain support, cypress for circulation, ledum for liver support, aroma life for heart support, hyssop for kidney support. So you're going to drop that oil into the glass dish, but do not put the used dropper into your virgin bottle of oil. Then you're going to siphon the essential oil from the glass dish and add more carrier oil if you like, and then go in for round 2. So insert the dropper into the rectum a second time and empty its contents into your colon. Try to lay on your right side for at least 10 minutes. And if you can hold it overnight, that's better. Sometimes on the first try, though, you can't hold it that long. In the morning, make a trip to the bathroom and expel anything that's remaining. Thoroughly clean your dropper inside and out with Thieves dish soap. If you want to do this technique again and you handled the oils well the first time, you can increase how much essential oil you're using. I always use extra carrier oil the first time, and I stick to only a drop or 2 of essential oil. So just like when you do a patch skin test the first time you use an essential oil on your skin, you might find that you handle the oil just fine and you don't need a carrier oil at all. But always go slow the first time you try a technique. It's just basic oil safety. Each person has a unique biochemistry and will respond differently. So we're going to end this section now because I'm pretty sure you're still staring at the page with your jaw just hanging down, and I've lost all hugs at convention. Nobody's hugging me anymore at convention. So just try it. I promise you will like it, and it might be the answer that you're looking for. So here's some affirmations for the class. Seems like the appropriate place to put affirmations for doing hard things, things you don't want to do. So say these with me. I can get through anything. There are no problems, only challenges. I welcome challenges into my life. Challenges are opportunities to learn and grow. I am safe and secure no matter what. I can get through anything. I'm getting stronger every day. I am a strong and capable person. I have the ability to overcome any obstacle. I release all negative emotions from today. I let go of any stress and anxiety. I will learn what I need to from today, which will make me a stronger person. I know that life is not meant to be easy. Tomorrow is a brand new day. I will not let fear take control of me. I have strength and courage. I'm filled with joy and ease. I don't have to have all of this solved today. I'm doing what I can with the knowledge and skills that I have. When I've done all that I know how to do, I choose to let my mind rest. I welcome fear as a sign to be careful, but I choose to let go of it when it no longer serves me. I release myself from guilt and shame. I am not the only one to have faced this trauma, and I will not be the last. Courage does not mean having no fear of danger, but facing dangers despite fear. Life's problems are not solved by perfect people, but by those that show up, and I am someone who shows up. Life is full of constant change. My pain, though very real, will not be as acute forever. Would you guys like these if I made these quotes into shareable graphics? Maybe that would be a blessing to your teams to share some of these on your team pages. I am becoming the kind of person who can survive this storm. I am not a failure, but a survivor. So section 9 is journaling. And I just want you to think in your mind as you put your journal together, the answers to some of these questions. So what oils did I use today, this week, this month? What results did I see? Is there a story that I really want to remember? Did I help someone this week? And what did I do? Did I see a new idea with oils on social media or elsewhere that I'd love to try? What hit me from the class? And what would I like to learn more about? And what are my current oils goals? And then we are playing Hangman, and we're almost at the end of this, which means we're going to be unlocking the Candida script from the second script book that I haven't written yet in just a few weeks. So don't give away the answer. But those of you guys that figure this out, when we finish boot camp, you can send me an email and I will send that script to you early. So did you get every single exercise completed? If so, your first letter in the puzzle to unlock the secret page for the first script book 2 class on my website under Share and Game Plan script book is O. And then section 10 is just a part for brand partners for them to track that they teach the core 5 classes to the new person: oils, thieves, Ningxia, CBD, the kids class. What else have they taught and what classes do they want next? Had they been given the script book mini, fearless, and the game plan mini? And you just kind of track what are some names of people that you want to invite to the next class. I've got a list of like 10 people going in my head down here in Greenville that I want to get plugged into an oils class. And that leaves us at the blending 101 class, how to make your own blends like a certified aromatherapist. And the cover of this is some of the oils we talk about with ginger, cassia, angelica, and neroli. It's going to be an incredible class, and you're not going to want to miss that one next Tuesday. So much fun. So I would love the Candida script. We'll be releasing that. Yes, that's coming from the second script book, which I have not written yet, but I am starting a couple of those scripts. And that one is my favorite, the Candida script. Yes, I felt really convicted. I also think in this set, I'm going to put a class in there for sensory parents. So parents of children with sensory processing. And we're just going to love on them a little bit. All right, let me pick two people, affirmation contact cards. I like that one. I'm going to pick a couple of people. Beth Ayers, your winner number 1. I'm just going to give you a workbook and an Euler edition. So tell me you guys want to win something. All right. And I'm going to pick a couple more people that I haven't seen. Janine Bowen Sweet says she needs some minis. So girl, I'll send you 10 minis. And then Sarah Lake Mitchell, I'm going to send you also 10 minis as well. And I hope you've enjoyed the NeuroAuricular class. I love you guys so much. Winners, you got to email me at oilabilitywithsarah, SARAH@gmail.com, and we'll make sure we get that out to you. All right. I'll see you guys on Tuesday and have an amazing weekend. Bye.